Good morning, Steve Reed in Chicago with the Morning Grain Comments. Hope everybody had a good weekend. And this week is a shortened week for traders. And Thursday we have closed for holiday, and Friday we close early at noon. I think that overnight we've got markets a little bit higher in the beans and corn, but sharp gains in the wheat market. There is some talk that some of the end users may take some coverage, corn, beans, meal, oil, wheat, in front of the long holiday weekend, just in case prices don't take off next week. We saw that managed funds combined in all our grain markets added 84,000 contracts last week. That's the biggest weekly add since May. And so part of it probably has to do with inflation. The other part could happen to do, especially in the wheat market, with the fact that there probably is more demand out there from an importer standpoint than supply. And we continue to be worried in the wheat market about Australia rains lowering the quality of that crop there. Long term, I think the market's also looking at, in the U.S., the possibility of spring, some ridge in the western Midwest that could move to the south and east during the spring. There also could be a ridge in the U.S. southeast, and that ridge has a low probability, but could, like 1988, merge with the ridge in the west, providing some warm and dry conditions this summer of 2022. We also note that most of the analysts look for a corn carryout around 1290 versus the government's 1493. The key there is higher demand. The bean carryout conservatively is like 400 versus the government's 340. And here again, the key is just how much do exports drop. In the wheat, there's a big range of guesses from 570 to 640 versus the government's 583. And the key there is what is our final exports going to be. For next year, I think people are looking at the possibility of maybe 49.5 million wheat acres, let's say 92.5 corn acres, and 87.5 to 88 bean acres. The corn acres could drop another 1 or 2 million acres because of the high cost of production, but most people think farmers will try to stay to some normal rotation despite the high costs of planting the corn crop. We also look at next year's the carryouts possibly in the wheat as high as 900 million bushels, depending upon the crop size. Corn somewhere around 1,500 versus the government's 1938, and beans 500 versus the government's 300. So again, all this depends upon weather. For the most part, South American weather is good. Some scattered showers in Argentina, southern Brazil. Europe is dry. Russia's dry, but we'll be watching more closely the tension between Russia and Ukraine as they build up troops on their borders. We'll be also watching anything out of Washington concerning anything on the economy. The President of the United States is supposed to be speaking tomorrow on the economy. Some people are looking to see if he lets out some of the strategic crude reserve, which has been weighing on the energy market. We'll see if they has a new Fed chairman. And also we'll be talking about inflation. As always, these are my thoughts and not those of ADM Investor Services. Have a safe and profitable trading day. Remember, always treat people like you yourself would like to be treated.